What's up, you guys? So today we're actually at the old shop. We came by here to do a little bit of part stuff, to get some quotes and ship a few things out. And well, I've really been sick for like the past week, and I've just been down bad with the flu. That's why you guys haven't seen a video. Sorry about that. But today I actually wanted to bring, kind of a short video to you guys. Pretty much since we just had Christmas, we're going to share a Christmas present, and it's basically one of my favorite OEM Plus mods for the Nissan 300ZX. And here we're actually going to put it on my daily four-seater. Just happened to look down here and it appears someone has scratched all of the paint off of my door. Wow. Well, that sucks, but who cares? My car is an absolute hoopty. Got all kinds of, crusty clear coat and paint and you name it. This car's definitely no show car, but it's nice to look at. And well, that brings us to today. There is one thing that really I think is going to benefit or spice up greatly on this car. Can you guys guess what it is? OEM option. Maybe not for here in the US, but it was an OEM option later on. Well, let's cut to the chase. We ended up picking us up another set. Yeah, you got that right. We just picked us up some 1999 J-Spec taillights. So basically, as you can tell, these taillights here have a white lens for the turn signal, and they also have these two pinstripes on each section, compared to these on the old Stalkers. So basically, the main reason why I wanted to get rid of all this is we have this cracked taillight right here, and I'm actually getting some exhaust fumes into the cabin through this. I guess that's just the little excuse that I needed to justify to buy these things. And well, I got them for a crazy good deal, used, but they're literally brand new. I guess we'll go ahead and start tearing down our interior, removing our screws, at least to get these back three panels out so we can get access to our taillights. You really don't need to. You can just pull these off and have access to all your bolts and whatnot, but I would rather just pull it all off. And also at the end of this video, we're going to go tear down the rest of Matt's motor. At least we're going to pull the heads off of it, examine the pistons, and kind of see what the main condition of the engine is currently. So stay tuned if that's something that you are excited to see. Curse me for putting the stuff in how it's supposed to. I gotta get 2 10 mils down here. And a couple nuts. And since we're a four-seater, we've got these 3 little screws here for our ABS unit cover. Now we can remove this, and in turn can remove this panel. So we should have a couple more 10 mils down here, and we should be able to pry it out. And pop it off the studs on the bottom and pull it out. And for the four-seater, don't forget to disconnect your light. Now we get to break out the old 8 mil, and let's actually begin to remove each of these little nuts holding on our taillights. You maybe just go ahead and disconnect them while you're at it, as well as the connector to your center panel. So if we look at here, the center panel has 3 per side, and then the taillights themselves, there's 4 holding them in. Just go ahead and remove all of them nuts. Once you get all 4 of your nuts off of one side, you can kind of just push on them studs to kind of pull it out, or I like to kind of just pry up here from the top. Sometimes you can just wedge like a screwdriver in there just to get it started to separate, and then peel it with your hands. So basically here we're just trying to break that urethane seal. You can barely see through over here, but we're just trying to disconnect all of that glue, which you can see oozing out everywhere down here. Now that we got it pretty much cracked loose, working it back and forth, we're just going to pry straight out. It probably would help if we removed the center panel first, but it doesn't always matter. And look how nasty that stuff is. Yeah, my car is repainted if you can't tell, so that's why I'm not crazy worried about us prying all that out, because all this is getting repainted before you know it. So now that we have all of this out, yeah, we really should clean this and reapply and whatnot, but like I said, all this is going to come out in like no time. We're just going to band-aid it for now. So let's grab our tail light. Oh no, made a mess. Now what I was talking about earlier is why the middle panel could come off first is just this lip here on the inside. But all you got to do is just tuck that in and kind of just start your tail light. It'll gradually pull itself in once we go to tighten it, but this is why you really should clean up a lot of your urethane before you put new on. Because pretty much the problem we're having is we have the urethane still on the tail light and what's left on the car, so it's a thick chunk of urethane and it's not going to pull in super tight. Since all this will be coming off before long for paint, not too worried as long as we get the, you know, aesthetic going on here. And I will say I'm all here for it. Now let's take all 4 of our nuts and let's re-secure these taillights. We can also plug them in as well. And now we've got the taillight fully mounted. So let's actually go ahead and do all the same thing over here, get that swapped out, and then we can give you guys a couple tips for removing this center panel. Because there actually is one thing that a lot of people may not know about that holds it on. So we got it all switched over, and now we're on to the center panel. So we have removed all 6 of the nuts, the 3 right here on each side, and now we're almost ready to remove. Now there's one thing that will hold you up when you go to remove this that you may not see, and it's actually one of these panel clips right here in the center of this centerpiece. So if you look right back here, you'll see the nub, and that is the panel clip that you need to remove to actually pop this whole unit off once it is fully unbolted. So once you have your panel clip popped off, you can remove your full center panel. Now here you can see this little gasket is wanting to stay. Well, we actually need, I think, this side. So if you see, we're actually missing one here, and we have one over here. So yeah, looks like we're doing that just right. So we're going to keep the one on here, and we're going to save this one and keep it attached about like that. Out with the old, in with the new. Just like we've been doing everywhere else, we'll just wipe it down, make sure it's somewhat clean. Literally. Oh, I guess we got to remove all our hardware first. Derp. Now with the hardware off, we can begin to reinstall our panel. Now here, we just want to make sure we have that gasket lift up enough to where when that bolt hole goes through, we also don't want that tucked in like that. We just want it to get in between. I'm going to push that in, pop your panel clip in. Now we can go back and we can begin to tighten down each 8mm nuts that go back here on this rear center panel. And we're also going to plug in that center panel. And once we got them all tightened up, we're actually going to plug in our final light. Before I forget, now, that is sharp looking. What do you guys think? Do you like JDM tails or do you like the original amber tails? I love the J spec. They are so gorgeous. Can't beat that red on red, you know. Now we're going to go ahead, we're going to put all this back together because we are running out of daylight, as you can see. So let's get this wrapped up and let's head back home so we can start on Matt's car and get his engine all torn apart, or at least our heads removed to see what we're working with. Got it all cleaned up in the trunk, and let's just admire this one final time. Dang! Completely changed the aesthetic of the whole car, and I am here for it. Wow, that looks so good, man. It makes the kit kind of come together a little bit more, but now one of the biggest things that I really want to get done, but honestly I'm going to need a little bit of funds freed up to do. I want to get my square 33s back on the car. Basically, I've got bad tires on these, and even the ones that's over there on the white Z, basically they're just on there for roller wheels for now. But yeah, this tire, never mind, this tire is toast. But these wheels need to go back on that Z. Springtime, at least by spring, we'll have it done. But whatever, let's pack up, grab our tools, and let's head back to the house. Now we're back here in the shop, and if you guys didn't know or haven't been able to tell, we have us a new car in right now, and this is actually another customer car, and we've got a couple new videos coming on this twin turbo Z itself. First and foremost, we're going to be showing you guys how to do fuel injectors in the car, at least how to upgrade to new style or phase 2 fuel injectors, and we're also going to do a full 120K timing kit with the engine in car. So if you guys have kind of wondered how to do that, since my version I showed you how to take the engine out and do it that way, well, stay tuned because we're going to do it in car. We're going to answer all your guys' questions. But for today's portion of the video, we're actually going to come over here to Matt's car, or his Matt's motor, which is the Silver Z back here. And well, when we did valve stem seals on this side of the head, when we went to put everything back together, we cannot torque this cam cap on. See how loose it is and how far the bolts are? Check this out. This is the torque spec. Hitting the torque spec before the cam cap is seated. So basically what's happened here is the lubrication has left the chat here on this journal, and pretty much this cam has been riding without enough lubrication, heating this cap up to the point that it swells and this bolt can no longer just come out. So it's gotten too much heat onto this journal and it has warped the surface. So basically this head's no good. It's either going to need line board or we're going to need new caps or whatever. Yeah, it's just a whole ordeal, and for 30p heads, not worth it. So we're actually going to be pulling these off now, because next video we'll potentially be cleaning up another set of heads. We'll take them to the machine shop, get them resurfaced. We'll take them, have them cleaned and whatnot, but we're actually going to do all the lapping to make sure we have a nice sealing surface on or in our combustion chamber. So first and foremost, everything's torn down. We're ready to just go straight for all 8 of our head bolts here. And well, before we do that, you have 2 bolts you need to remove before your head bolts. You have this little security 10 mil here in the back, but on your driver's side, you actually have one right here. So you have to remove them to be able to get the head off. If not, you're going to be fighting that little part of the casting. When you remove it, don't lose it, because it's going back once we reinstall our heads. So now that we've got both of our little security bolts down, it's time for us to start loosening up the head. So I'm actually just going to use my impact. It doesn't matter taking it apart with an impact. You just don't want to tighten head bolts with an impact because you can damage your threads. It's not good. Grab us a 10 mil Allen key. So pretty much all we're going to do here is we're just going to get a good seat on our Allen key, make sure it goes in all the way. If you got oil in the top of your bolt hole, you want to clean that out first, or else you're not going to get fully seated and you can round your bolt. So once you got it nice and set up, we're just going to loosen them up one by one. And we're going to just start in the middle here, and we're going to spiral outwards. Sometimes you just need that manual labor. Now before we pull the head off, we're going to remove each of our head bolts. If not, these will just get in the way when we go to sit our head down somewhere. Now we're going to take a big pry bar, and we're going to get it underneath the head. We're going to slowly work it up, and we're going to pop it off of the block. At least we're going to pop it off of the dowel. So I like to take my pry bar, wedge it right here by that lock bolt, and you can kind of wiggle and lift your head up. Once you get that one popped loose, you can always come to the back so you can work it off fully. Just going to work that head up. See, it's moving now. We should be able to lift it off and sit it over here on our wood. So we're just going to lift this up, and we're going to run over here as fast as we can and try to make the least amount of a mess as we can. And pull. So looking here at the cylinder, we've got a lot of buildup. So either some dirty fuel has been used, maybe not only premium, you just got some excess carbon buildup. On the other hand, piston walls look great. Still tons of cross hatching, so we're really nice condition there. We have no worries about ring sealing so far. Bottom end's looking great. I'm not seeing any detonation marks, especially like on Josh's motor. There were all kinds of chunks missing out of that piston. But here, we actually have a pretty clean piston. I'm just kind of confused why this up here is so clean on each side. I don't know if that's from the fuel. Now, let's pull this head off. A lot of times here, I like to use this little water jacket and just get the pry bar on it and the rest on the block so I can lift and kind of crack it loose. Or you can obviously always take a mallet and hit down here and pop it off that dowel. You can also pry by your locker bolt here on the back. We're just gonna keep pulling at it and wiggle it off just like the other side. What's going on here? There we go. Thing didn't want to lift off. Safe to say we're looking pretty similar over here. Piston's not bad. Obviously just has a little bit of dirt and caked up carbon, but yeah. Oh man, cylinder walls look great. Heck yeah, that's all you can ask for. I see zero thrust wear too. Magnificent. We've got us a solid foundation here for the block that we can build with for this twin turbo swap. Exciting, I know. Everything's good to go now. We know we can just start cleaning all this up, remove the old gasket, get the block prepped and ready, and then we can obviously work on our heads and get them ready to get refreshed and drop on here. There is also one thing I do want to show, just because I opened them the other day, or at least one of them, because I've never seen one. For anyone who's never seen a brand new turbo before, check it out. Brand new OEM turbo. Brand spanking new. So we've got pretty much everything at this point to just keep going forward, trucking along with this and getting everything done. So yeah, next video on this series, we'll be cleaning some block surface, some head surfaces. We're just cleaning the heads and trying to get this thing ready to put back together. We're in no rush. We're trying to do it all right here and make sure everything is done appropriately. Honestly, since we're down this far, I may take the time to clean up the block and we can paint it, make it black, and you know, make it a little more presentable. Let's just take care of it all while we're here, and let's get this thing clean and A1 looking. Sorry for the short video. I just had to kind of get back out here and get back in the swing of things after being sick. Been down so bad for so long that I forgot the process of everything, and I just wanted to get out here and, you know, get freshened up. So hope you guys enjoyed this video for what it's worth and for what it is. And honestly, I hope you guys like the taillights as much as I do, because tell you what, I am obsessed. Never gets old, I'm telling you. Absolutely gorgeous, especially when we got 1 and 2 over here. But oh well, we got to wrap it up here. I'm starting to sweat. Still got kind of the sick sweats, but let's continue making some videos and pumping out some content for you guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe down below. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, Happy New Year. Peace.